The Sisters of Loretto got their start in the southern United States thanks to Father Nerix. Charles Nerix was born on October 2nd, 1791, in Helpingen, Belgium, and he was the oldest of 14 siblings. Father Nerix preached for years, but after getting persecuted by the French, he had to self-exile himself to America. Father Nerix had seriously thought of missions in America before. He wanted to work with the Native American tribe of Paraguay, but he didn't know the language. One of Father Nerix's friends presented him with a fake letter proclaiming a want for missionaries in America. Nerix believed the letter and set out for America. After a dangerous journey, Nerix and his companion arrived in Baltimore on November 14, 1804. Bishop Crow had then sent them to Georgetown and was welcomed by Right Reverend Leonard Neal in the College of the Jesuits, where he stayed for 4 months. It was then when he saw slavery and the injustice slaves suffered and became an important member of the abolitionist movement. Mary Rhodes is the second founder of the Sisters of Loretto. Not much is known about her early life, as her records were lost when the building housing them burnt down. Mary Rhodes came to Kentucky to visit her relatives and start a new school for her nieces. Mary Rhodes had contacted Father Nerix about creating a covenant and religious school for girls. Nerix had helped Mary Rhodes achieve this goal by funding and monitoring the school she created. In 1812, the Friends of Mary Underneath the Cross of Jesus was born. The religious organization would eventually change its name to the Sisters of Loretto. The Loretto Mother House was the original school building that Mary Rhodes used to house the Sisters of Loretto. Sadly, in 1866, a fire destroyed some of its buildings. The Mother House is in Nerix, Kentucky, and is 50 miles away from the site of Uncle Tom's Cabin. The Mother House means a lot to the Loretto community today, so much so that Nerix students every year visit the Mother House in a service trip. So, can you give us a background about the Mother House Kentucky trip?
Sure. So what happens with the Mother House trip is that 4 students from Nerix Hall, 4 students from St. Mary's Academy in Denver, and 4 students from Loretto Academy in El Paso all come together, and a faculty member from each school come together to the Loretto Mother House, and they stay in the building that's called the Novitiate Building, which is where sisters would stay when they first came to join the Sisters of Loretto. So it's a really cool building with a lot of history. And we stay there for a week and do service for the sisters, things like visiting the sisters in the infirmary and working around on the property. They have a big farm there, so some of the stuff we've done is with the farm. Other things are like cleaning up invasive plant species or mulching paths around some of their lakes. Just kind of general housekeeping things around the property because it's a huge property to maintain.
Okay. How long have Nerix students been going to the Mother House?
Oh man, it's been a long time. I've been here 11 years and they've been going my entire time here, so maybe 20 years. I'm not totally sure, but for a long time.
How many times have you gone?
I've been on that trip twice. Yeah, and it's an awesome time to be there.
What are some of the most memorable stories or experiences you or students have had with the sisters at the Mother House?
Yeah, some things that stick out for me are just conversations I've had with specific sisters, or there are 2 co-members that live there, Susan and Joanna, and they live in a house that's completely environmentally sustainable. Maybe someone in your class will present on that, but it's pretty amazing just being in their space and seeing all the ways that they were really intentional with building this house with care for the environment, as the center component in their project. And it's always impactful seeing the students interacting with the sisters and the relationships they build. I know there are students who have been on the trip that are still pen pals with sisters that they connected with during their time there. So that's really awesome to see. And while we're there, we also, I forgot to say, run a camp for kids from the community. And these are mostly children of immigrant families. And so it's just a fun morning camp where they do some sort of arts and craft kind of activity, have a snack, and then go swimming because there's a pool on the property. So that's always really fun as well.
And what does the Loretto Mother House and Loretto community mean to you?
Yeah, for me personally, it's really impactful because it means that I belong to something that's bigger than just myself. It's this network of women who have done amazing things in the world, um, and taught and inspired young women like the students of Naring's Loretto Academy and St. Mary's Academy to go out and do amazing things in the world. So it helps me feel a little bit more motivated to incorporate those values in my own life, um, and think about them and what the sisters are doing, when making big decisions. And they also help me because sometimes they're focusing on social justice issues or things that I wasn't aware of. And when I read their newsletter or hear the sisters talking about certain things or see their passion about fracking or environmental justice or immigration, it can bring some of those important issues in our world to the forefront of my mind and help me be more active as well in those topics.
Soon, the Loretto organization spread. In November of 1825, three sisters of Loretto left Perryville, Missouri to establish a school for the poor in Assumption, Louisiana. Their names were Mother Johanna Miles, Sister Rose Elder, and Sister Regina Cloney. They first settled 90 miles away, but they eventually reached Assumption in December of that year. They would soon found the Fourth Covenant School for the Poor in the state of Louisiana.
As the Lorettos headed from Kentucky to New Mexico and California, they faced struggles. As they were traveling, one sister got cholera and ended up dying 12 hours later. Then, two others got it. Soon the sisters became better and they were able to continue. When they got to Santa Fe, they decided to open a chapel. To do that, they hired Mexican carpenters to build it for them. In the chapel, there was a beautiful choir loft. Unfortunately, the only way to get up was by climbing a ladder. For 2 years, the sisters pulled up their skirts and climbed the ladder. One day, they decided to pray a novena to St. Joseph about the problem. On the ninth day of the novena, April 25th, 1878, a man showed up with a donkey and some wooden tools, asking for work. The sisters put him to work. He built a beautiful spiral staircase made only of wooden parts that led up to the choir loft. Then he disappeared. He did not leave his name nor ask for payment of any kind. To this day, we still consider it a miracle.
Although the Loretto organization strives to do good in the world, the organization had some shame in their past. The ownership of slaves, which the organization was against. The early Sisters of Loretto had owned slaves, usually passed down through their families. To ask for forgiveness, the sisters took place in a reconciliation service with the other religious orders. They also dedicated a memorial in 2000 to the slaves that had served the other Sisters of Loretto. The Loretto sisters have always been dedicated to social justice and have demonstrated that in the South. They protested in 2013 against WHISC, who trained soldiers and dictators who led co-ops and killed thousands of indigenous peoples. They've also protested the Bluegrass Pipeline, which threatened to cut through the Kentucky Holy Land. The South is where the Loretto organization was born, and today it has spread all over the world. The early Loretto sisters mean a lot to the Loretto community, for without them, we wouldn't have the organization today. Lorettos in the South have shaped the Sisters of Loretto past, influenced the present, and inspired the future.